lovelies, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Mandy, and I like to talk about makeup panning, nail polish, and bargain beauty. Today I have an update for the Enjoy Your Eyeshadows project, so stay tuned. Alright, Enjoy Your Eyeshadows is a project, a Fantastic Ladies collab group project that was created by my friend Deb B here on YouTube. I will have her linked in the description box below. This is all about enjoying your eyeshadows, no matter how you do it. You can do a pan that palette, you can do pan those eyeshadows, you can just share what palettes you used during the month. I am using this project as a no pan left behind way of working through my palettes, and I am also sharing what I wore during the month. I will give you a photo of the look and tell you what I wore and give you swatches of the shimmers. If you like this kind of video, please hit subscribe while you're here and a thumbs up to let me know you enjoyed it. So let's get into what I used over the month of July into August. So I'm going to tell you about the palettes I had in first. I have five palettes and one make your own and one single. The palettes the one single I was working on is a Medusa's Makeup from their Glam Rock collection in the shade Rhapsody. This is in a project for a certain number of uses. I may have one more use left to go, or I met my goal. I don't remember. And then for a build your own palette, I am working on these singles that have been depotted from Natasha Denona in this little build your own palette. And I'm working to see which shades I like and which ones I don't. And then for actual palettes, I was doing no pan left behind for the Hershey's Kisses. This is the Cookies and Cream from Glamlite. The Galaxy Chic from BH Cosmetics, and that's all I had for no pan left behind. Previously, I had the I Heart Revolution, which I will talk about briefly. I had one shade left in that for a project that I used as a highlighter. And then for palettes that I have in that are in projects for numbers of uses in shades, I am working on the Revolution Corpse Bride Butterfly palette. I am working on this shade Spell, as well as using it no pan left behind. And then I'm also working on the Marvycorn from BH Cosmetics, and I'm working on the shade Moana for numbers of uses, as well as no pan left behind. So let's get into the looks I did over the last month. Starting last month on July 11th, I started the look off with my transition shade, which is this one here from Natasha Denona. I called it Tan because it's kind of a yellow-based tan shade. I use that as my transition and lid setting. And then I put Kisses, and I'm like, what Kisses? And this Kisses. On the lid, for the base of the lid, I used shade 1, which is the light blue here, and shade 2, which is this medium blue here. Those are the lid base shades. And then for shimmers, I went into my Galaxy Chic, and I used the shades Earth, which is this one right here. It's a light blue shimmer, and Neptune, which is this, nope, that's Meteor. Where's Neptune? It's the one right next to it, the dark blue, and Neptune. So I used those two as my shimmers, as well as the inner corner I used Electra, which is the light blue. It's more of a green blue-green, yes. And for my liner in that look, I used my NYX Glide On liner in Platinum. And there are those three shades there. So the first one there, Earth, is a little more blue, and then Neptune is a little more green blue, and then the one in the middle is that Neptune, which is really pretty. I guess the one on the bottom is Electra. So those are really pretty. I love the formula on the Galaxy Chic shadows. As you can see, they are very shiny and very foiled. It is an all metallic palette, and I'm there for it. All right, and then moving on, the next look I did was from my Mermaid's Heart. That's why it's out. Even though I completed my No Pan Left Behind last month, I was still using it to meet a goal for another project. But my second look on the 20th, I started with shade number 7, which is the yellowy gold here. That was my transition shade. For the lid shade, I went with 11, which is this dark blue matte. And then for the shimmers, I went in again. No. Okay, I went in with one from Galaxy Chic. I went in with Pluto, which is a gray. And then is what that guy looks like. Probably have blue for my other finger, but it's gray. It's really pretty. We'll swatch that. And then I used Spell, which is in my butterfly palette, and it is in for a number of uses, and it is a pretty lavender. So those are the shimmers I used in that look. And I feel like Pluto has a little bit of purple in it. Like it's a really deep smoky purple and not just gray, but that could be because I have other things on my fingers. All right, so, and then for the inner corner, I used Cosmic, which is, Cosmic is the light lavender up here. Sort of a pinky lavender shade. Is that all I used? Okay, and then my eyeliner was purple. So for the inner half, we had Spell, which is sort of a lavender. Then we had Pluto, which is this dark, I still want to say it's like a very dark, dusty purple, but it comes off as gray. And then this one is Cosmic, a very light pinky lavender. Lilac? Let's say a light lilac. And that was that look. And then topped it with my Purple Blaze eyeliner. All right, next look I did on the 22nd. I started with my base transition shade of Flotter from the Marvycorn. And then for the lid base, I used my black Maybelline, what is it called? Color Tattoo eye stick in black for my base all over my lid. And then I topped that with shimmers. I topped it with Moana, which you've seen before, but I'm going to swatch it again for you, and Comet from the Galaxy Chic, and Comet is this one here. So those two shades, really pretty teals. So we have Moana and Comet, and you can see Moana is really nice, but compared to Comet, how shiny it is, Moana almost looks like a satin. So really lovely there. And then on my inner corner, I used Moon from the Galaxy Chic, and Moon is light one here, which is a light gray, but it has a big patch of like white in it. It's just a really pretty white, light gray shade. There it is there. And I used my NYX Platinum liner again for that look. Some pretty looks this month. All right, the next one, it was on the 24th, and I started with my Natasha Denona. And I went with the transition shade with Tan. And then on the lid for the base, I used this one I'm just calling Orange, and a little bit of Rhapsody, which is kind of a satin, sort of a satin brown with a red shimmer, maybe? I keep thinking it looks red, but it keeps coming off on my skin as brown. And then that was the base. And then for the shimmers, I went in with getting a lot of, look, you said of the Galaxy Chic because there are a lot of shades in here. I went in with Prometheus and Asteroid for my shimmers. So that is Prometheus, a lovely red, and then Asteroid is a brown. It has a blue swirl in it, but I don't think it comes across too much. I think there's just a teeny sheen of blue in there. And then for the inner corner shade, I used Sun, which is a lovely light copper. There it is right there on my wrist. I've run out of room on this hand, but there is that look, a nice warm look. And I don't have any notes on what eyeliner I used with that, so maybe I didn't use one. I do that every once in a while, or I just forgot to write it down. But that was that nice warm look. Flip my page and switch hands. We got a lot of looks this month. I've been wearing makeup more frequently. I'll try and wipe some of these guys off while I start talking about the next look. All right, the next one, I started with the Natasha Denona Tan again. And, okay, very similar to the last look. We have the lid base is the Natasha Denona Orange. And then for shimmers, we started with Prometheus because that was in a project for a number of uses. So Prometheus, I don't know why I'm swatching it with the same hand. I just said I was going to switch hands. No, wrong one. Just stuck my finger in the wrong one. Okay, Prometheus. And then we had Mercury, which is a sort of a bronzy shade. And then for the inner corner, we did Saturn, which is a light gold. So those are the shades. We had Mercury on the outer half. Prometheus on the outer half, Mercury on the inner half, and Saturn in the inner corner. And then I used Sun, the coppery shade I had on this hand previously, for my brow highlight, because I realized I hadn't been doing a brow highlight in a while. I still haven't gotten back yet into doing it. And then for the liner, I used the black eye stick. Okay. Ooh, got a lot of use out of the Galaxy Chic this month. All right, the next look centers around my butterfly palette. So for the transition shade, I started with Beating Heart, which is this pink one here. And then on the lid, I went in with Breathless. Oh, which is this purple here. More of a blurple. It's on the bluer side compared to these other purples over here. And then for the shimmer, I used Spell. So I used to swatching with that hand. And Rhapsody, which is my single. Pretty sure, unless there's another Rhapsody. I don't think so. I know one month I kept talking about one shade and it was something else, and I got so confused. All right, so those two shades there. So that is Spell and Rhapsody. And then for the inner corner, I used Spirit, which is a beautiful white shimmer. And those are those three. So Rhapsody, Spell, and Spirit. And for the liner, I used my Purple Blaze. Okay, we're about halfway through. Everybody hanging in, sticking in there? Let me know what your favorite look is. All right, next we started with the Natasha Denona Tan again. I got a lot of use out of tan. I find it's a nice transition shade. It's also good lid setting. It's, you know, it's there. And then I went in with the orange again. So I got quite a bit of orange, trying to get some use out of that. And then for shimmers, I went in with Rhapsody again, which is this brown here. And I paired that with Pewter, which is this silvery pewter shade from Natasha Denona there. So I'll put it right next to the other one. So I had Rhapsody and Pewter. And then it looks like no inner corner, unless I did Pewter in the inner corner too. And then I did Platinum liner. So a very simple look there. Okay, we're getting there. Almost done. Go away, fly. The next one, I worked with this guy, the Marvycorn, and we started with Flotter, this one here, for my transition lid setting. And then on the lid base, I went in with the pink Tongue Pop. And then I went a completely different route. I started with a pink base, but then for shimmers, I went in with Bahamas, which is the purple. Sort of a lovely purple satin. And Spell. I swatched it with the wrong hand again. And then we went in with Spell from the Butterfly palette. And Spirit for the inner corner. So we had Bahamas, Spell, and Spirit. That was a really pretty purple look with my black stick for liner instead of purple. I don't know why I didn't do purple, but I did black. All right, then we have, again, we started with Natasha Denona Tan and Orange. And then I went in for a lovely orange look in my Galaxy Chic to complete all the uses from this palette. I had on the outer half, I had Jupiter, sort of a reddy orange, and then I had Venus on the inner half, which is a very bright orange. And then the inner corner I had Saturn, which is the gold. I think this one was Saturn here. So nice warm look, and I also did the black liner for that. And I believe that was during my live stream, my Get Ready With Me. So if you want to see that look come together, you can watch that. All right, next to last look, because the last look is the one I'm doing today. So I wore from this palette, the Marvycorn. I started with Flotter, the tan, and then I went over the lid with Flotter. This is a very natural look. I went over the lid with Flotter. And then for the shimmers, I put on Moody, or Muddy, M-U-D-D-I. I never know how to say it. So a very nice neutral shimmer. And then I topped that with Always from the Butterfly palette, which is more of an ethereal shimmer. A very neutral look. And then I did the white Spirit on the inner corner. A little pop. There you go. A very nice neutral look. And I used Spray Tan from the Marvycorn, which is this medium brown, or medium to dark brown for the liner. And then finally, the last look I'm going to talk about today is the one I'm wearing today, the one I have on right now. So for this look, it all came from the Hershey's Kisses, every single shade I'm wearing. So let me get it back open. That's the only problem I have with this is it's hard to open. There we go. All right. So started this look with the transition shade up here. This is shade number 1. Very lightly buffed that into my transition up to my brows. And then I went in and darkened up the lid with this bright blue here, applying it very lightly. And then darkened up the outer corner with the dark blue. Then I went in all over the center of the lid with this shade here. Sort of a beautiful blue. Has kind of a green flip to it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it is a very beautiful blue. With a little bit of green to it. And then inner corner, I went in with the even lighter blue. This one here. That's not true. I did bring in one shade from outside of this palette. And then for darken up the outer corner shimmer, I used the shade Promise from the Butterfly palette. And that is today's look. So inner, middle, and outer corner. Those 3 there. And then my lower lash line, I have the dark blue. And the inner corner, I brought in another shade actually from the Butterfly palette. It is called Marry the Dead, which is this very light blue shimmer here. Right there underneath the dark. It's a little bit of a light swatch, but it is lighter than the first light blue, I think. And then I said my black liner. Yes. So that is it. So what did I meet my goals on for No Pan Left Behind? Well, I used every shade in here, No Pan Left Behind. I used every pan in here at least once. I've used all these shades at least once. Have I actually ever used, 1 second. Okay, I don't know that if I ever used this shimmer here in this palette, but that's okay because it's going away anyway, because this palette has been in for 2 months and I don't think I've used the shade at all, and yeah, that's going to be we'll get to that in a second. So these 2 palettes are rolling out, as well as I used all the pans in the Galaxy Chic at least once. So that's 3, sorry, I did not use all the gold. I did not meet my goal on that. That still has shades to use. Sorry, wrong palette. But I did use each shade at least once in the Galaxy Chic. That's for sure. I have the little tick marks here. I used them all. I used all the shades in the Glamlite because most of them I used in today's look, and then the other ones I used in a previous look. This I met my goal on from another project, so staying, and then these are going away. Also, in the Natasha Denona palette, I don't know if you saw, I have been using this shade here as my brow powder, and I said I was going to keep it in until I hit pan, and can you see that shiny little pan? So I am going to roll this out. I have another shade that is identical in a different pan, so I'm going to bring that in. So this is going to get a whole new refresh. And so the ones staying in, I think I have one more use on this, otherwise this is rolling out. Let me look. But the Marvycorn is staying in for a number of uses, as well as Spell and the rest of this palette for a number of uses. And then, did I meet my goal for Rhapsody? No, I have one more use left on Rhapsody so that it's staying in. So we're going to be doing a quick refresh. Now, before I refresh, I want to give you my peaks and my pits. Probably tell my pit is going to be these 2 guys right here. Like I said, I don't think I used this shade at all in the 2 months it's been in. If I did, I used it once and I wasn't impressed. The orange shade, I didn't bother giving a name to because it's orange and it's not, if I want an orange, which I don't normally, but if I want an orange, I have other oranges I would rather reach for. So these two are going to be decluttered and passed on to somebody else. So I'm just going to take them out and set them aside. But this one I did enjoy very much, and the tan I got quite a bit of use out of, so those three are staying in my collection. And then for Peak, I have to say my Galaxy Chic. There are just so many beautiful shimmery metallic formulas in here, and yes, they are baked and they are going to last forever, but I mean, they are just some of the shiniest shades I have. And some of them I've used enough that they have nice little dips on the tops of them. And I would like to see, you know, if I could make a serious dent in any of these in the future. So that is something I'm gonna, a goal for myself, but definitely that is my peak and my pit. All right, so give me a second to refresh. I'll bring in new Natasha Denona palettes, and I will bring in, I think, 2 new regular palettes. Be right back. Okay, I have picked the palettes. If you watched one of my projects, I think it's Throwback 30, I brought in my Aether Beauty Moonlight Crystal palette. My goal for that project is to use each shade 5 times, so I'm gonna bring this in and start working on it. It's a beautiful purple teal palette, and does not get nearly enough use, so bringing that in. And then the next one in my rotation is just a little quad. This is from Juvia's Place, and this is the Rebels Grays, and I have got quite a bit of use out of this in the past, so I love my gray shades, so this will be a nice addition when I need something a little neutral in the cool area. And then if I want warm neutrals, I have my Natasha Denona. So I brought in this shade to replace my brow powder. It is pretty much the same thing. Then I have this one, which looks very similar to tan, but it's a little more golden. So we're going to bring that one in. And then we have this Midtown Warm Brown. Then this orange that seems to have a bit of a pink flip to it. I don't know if you can see it there. And then this one here, which is sort of a very light blue green. I have them swatched here. So we'll see. Out of this palette, I'm saying these two may not stay just based on the color palette. This one is maybe, I don't know, it's a bit yellowy, so we'll see. But that is what I'm bringing in to work on for the next month or so. If you have any feedback, comments, suggestions, give me whatever opinions you have to share down in the comments below. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do that while you're here. It means a lot to me. I am trying to reach 200 subscribers by the end of the year. And until my next video, take care of yourselves, stay true to you, and you'll see me in my next video. Bye!